think wins in a fight, you or Prime Floyd?
Me?
No questions?
Why would you think that I would say Floyd?
That there's not another guy in the world that can beat you right now. That's Mayweather level. Head to head at their welterweight primes, Bud versus Floyd. I feel like a lot of us might actually be picking Bud right now. But what he achieved, I cannot put him above Mayweather or Pacquiao because he got these opportunities so late.
This is the problem with Bud's career, right? It bloomed kind of late.
Bud's been the baddest man for 12 years, but no one gave him credit because he didn't go tell you he was the baddest man. He didn't market that. He just went out and fought and beat people and knocked people out. So he had to move up and take the bigger...
Terence Crawford responded with confidence to Floyd Mayweather's claim that he could beat him. Crawford asserted that even a prime Mayweather wouldn't stand a chance against him. He emphasized that his legacy is built on accepting every challenge, never backing down from any opponent. Crawford made it clear that no one can accuse him of ducking fights. He's always faced whoever was willing to step into the ring. He also hinted that if a bout with Mayweather were ever possible, he wouldn't hesitate to take it.
He started going like this, and then that's when Floyd started taking over.
What do you want your legacy to be like when your career's all said and done? What do you want people to remember you for?
Oh man, everybody's asking me the question. I always be like, man, it's whatever it's their opinion. Everybody gonna have a different opinion of Terence Crawford, but one thing they can't say is that I ducked anyone. I fought everyone that was available to fight.
Terence Crawford's emphatic dismantling of Canelo Alvarez has ignited intense debate across the boxing world. Fans and analysts were quick to draw comparisons to Floyd Mayweather's own victory over Canelo. While Mayweather defeated a younger, less seasoned version of the Mexican star, Crawford's dominant performance came against a more experienced and refined Alvarez, prompting some to argue that Crawford may be the superior fighter. However, analyst Luke Thomas offered a more nuanced perspective. He pointed out that Crawford's career ascended much later than Mayweather's. Floyd had already cemented his status as a superstar at a younger age, consistently facing elite opponents early in his career. Crawford, in contrast, endured a slower rise due to limited promotion and recognition, which delayed his arrival on the sport's biggest stages. As a result, Thomas argues that while Crawford's win over Canelo may be more impressive in execution, it doesn't necessarily elevate him above Mayweather in the historical rankings. Factors like timing, career trajectory, and sustained dominance all play crucial roles in such comparisons.
What does Terence Crawford do now? Like, what's the next thing that he does? Because you look around and go, is the only way that he really gets that, maybe that ultimate chance if he goes up again? And do you say, what do you do?
I don't quite. Yeah, I mean, he was asked those questions at the press conference. He made two things clear. One, he's not going back to 154, and I say that because some people suggested about possibly pursuing a fight with Ennis, who has his debut in the weight class coming up.
Yeah.
That's probably unlikely. He's not going to go back down in weight. And I mean, no disrespect to Ennis, but Ennis is a guy that's known within the diehards of boxing. He's not in any way known beyond the boundaries of the hardcore boxing fan. So yeah. I don't know if that makes sense for a lot of different reasons for him. Not to say I wouldn't, as a boxing fan, enjoy watching the fight. So, yeah. But I don't think he's going back to 154. He was asked about like a Benavides at 175, and he acknowledged like that guy's really big. I mean, that's maybe a bridge too far. He already went up to 2 weight classes to fight Canelo at 68. So it feels to me like he can either stay at 168 and defend this championship and look to the same types of names that were being thrown around as the types of guys that would have been in the mix for Canelo had he won the fight. And, he's going to have mandatories. Obviously, that's the first thing they'll have to look at. I mean, I don't know if he's not going to necessarily keep the belts if he's forced into a mandatory. He doesn't need the belts at this point, but there might be something appealing to him. For example, and Billy had a great fight on the undercard, although he's been ordered to fight a rematch in that fight. Mm-hmm. That was, like fight of the year against Lester Martinez, candidate for fight of the year.
Buddy McGirt emerged as one of Terence Crawford's most vocal supporters following his emphatic victory over Canelo Alvarez, calling the performance complete domination. According to McGirt, Crawford took control from the opening bell, never allowing Canelo to set the pace or employ his trademark aggression. He stressed that the win was so decisive there's no need for a rematch. Crawford's superiority was undeniable to anyone watching. McGirt also emphasized that this victory marks the moment Crawford truly secured his legacy. By dismantling a fighter of Canelo's caliber, Crawford now holds the kind of signature win that defines a career. In McGirt's view, there's nothing left for Crawford to prove. He's written his chapter in boxing history, and his dominant performance over Canelo stands as a lasting testament to his place among the sport's all-time greats.
This was a masterclass. One guy with outrageous skill offensively and defensively, simply making another very good fighter look lesser than. This was the other part. The people who watch MMA and then try to watch boxing through an MMA lens, I don't know what to tell you. You're actually missing the point. The kind of specific details and the depth of the technical ability far surpasses even what you can get at the highest level of MMA, because they don't have that level of skill. There is no equivalent in MMA to Bud Crawford, because there cannot be. Bud is the most talented boxer I've seen since Mayweather.
I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
To be fair to Floyd, he obviously had hand problems in his whole welterweight run, and it's why he took that long stretch off in 2007, 2008, 2009 area, and Floyd's brilliance to be able to be just as great in some ways at that age. We're not here trying to dunk on Floyd. When you get a victory like this, right now, straight up, Luke, you could say that there's not a welterweight, junior middleweight, or maybe even super middleweight. When you could say over like a 4-division stretch, Bud, cut down to any of these weights, that there's not another guy in the world that can beat you right now, that's Mayweather level. Head to head at their welterweight primes, Bud versus Floyd, I feel like a lot of us might actually be picking Bud right now. But what he achieved, I cannot put him above Mayweather or Pacquiao, because he got these opportunities so late.
This is the problem with Bud's career, right? It bloomed kind of late. I find Bud to be as defensively sound as I've ever seen a fighter. He can find you. There's nowhere to hide with him.
Like Floyd, he has such control over the terms in there. It's just insane.
When comparing Terence Crawford to Floyd Mayweather, analysts frequently point to the mental aspect of Mayweather's game as the defining edge that keeps him one step ahead. While Crawford is widely praised for his technical brilliance, his ability to switch stances, adapt mid-fight, and systematically dismantle opponents, many argue that Mayweather operated on an additional psychological level that set him apart. Floyd wasn't just fighting with his fists. He was manipulating the minds of his opponents. He routinely forced them out of their game plans, lured them into making critical mistakes, and imposed a mental pressure that often led to defeat before the final bell. This aura of psychological dominance, both before and during the fight, is seen as the key distinction between the two champions. Crawford's skill set is undeniable, and his rise has brought him within striking distance of Mayweather in the pound-for-pound conversation. But in the eyes of many boxing historians, it's Floyd's mastery of psychological warfare, his unmatched control in and out of the ring, that gives him the historical edge. The comparison underscores just how close Crawford is to greatness, while also highlighting the unique mental dimension that still separates Mayweather from the rest.
Yes.
Like, what fight were they watching?
Right.
I mean, it's. I don't know, man. I don't know what some of these guys be doing in this game, man. Some people, in situations like that, they should ask them, listen, just turn in your license, bro. Because there's no way in hell the fight was that close.
Right.
I mean, come on, man. It's just, it's not fair. It's not fair. You get a guy like Terence got here and dominate from beginning to end, and then you find out he needed the last 2 rounds to win. That's scary, man.
It is. And you see how you just mentioned scary. Now, a lot of people are saying, buddy, that type of beating, nah, he's not going to want a rematch. But looking at those gold cards and knowing that, hey, you wasn't too far behind, even though, he did mention that, he's better than Mayweather. But I mean, what's your thoughts? Do you feel like that was such a beating that Canelo wouldn't want a rematch?
No, I think that, in all honesty, personally, I think that Canelo's at that stage in his career right now, that it's a rematch he don't need. He don't need it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? What we saw that night, that's the stage Canelo's at right now. I mean, he's fought everybody, he's did everything, but you know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He passed the torch to the right guy. You know what I mean? He lost it to Terence fan square, and he passed the torch. So if you're gonna have another fight, cool, but you don't need to. You have nothing. He has nothing to prove. He fought Terence and nobody else would.
For over a decade, Terence Crawford has displayed elite-level skill inside the ring, Yet his understated personality and aversion to theatrics often kept him out of the spotlight. Unlike fighters who build their brands through loud self-promotion and controversy, Crawford chose to let his performances do the talking. While this earned him deep respect among boxing purists, it also led to years of being overlooked by the mainstream audience. Only now, after high-profile victories over Errol Spence Jr. and Canelo Alvarez, is the broader public beginning to truly recognize Crawford's greatness. But for some critics, this recognition feels overdue. At 37, Crawford is well into the latter stages of his career, and while he may still add to his legacy, the window for building a long-lasting mainstream profile is narrowing. This has led to a lingering question among fans and analysts alike. How different might Crawford's career have been if he had received the spotlight earlier? His talent was always there, but in a sport where visibility often shapes legacy, timing may have cost him the widespread acclaim he long deserved.
Hagler, Hearns. I've seen Sugar Ray Leonard and Marvin Hagler. Like I've seen all of those things, and those fights were wars. Floyd Mayweather is the best boxer I've ever seen. He's the most skilled boxer I've ever seen. Bud, and this is just my opinion, is the baddest man I've seen wear boxing gloves. And here's why I say that.
RC.
Here's why I say that. Bud is extremely skilled, right? Yet not as skilled as Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather made people look foolish, right? And so if I had to say who's the greatest I've seen, and Bud said it right, the best of an era and the best of an era, it's Floyd. But when I watched Bud against Canelo, there was this extreme skill on display, and there was a level of crazy that's different. There was a level of, and Floyd's extremely tough. Go back to Shane Mosley and the 2 punches he landed early in the fight and the way that he embarrassed him. I'm not saying that Floyd's not tough. Floyd's not a bad man. But there was domination inside that ring we saw this weekend. Yeah. And there's no fear in him in the way that he's attacked gaining notoriety. Bud's been the baddest man for 12 years. But no one gave him credit because he didn't go tell you he was the baddest man. He didn't market that. He just went out and fought and beat people and knocked people out. So he had to move up and take the bigger fights and the better fights. And he was Errol Spence.